Hey, Trevor Grant from Revenue Hub. Welcome to one of our videos in what we are calling Video Over Podcast Series. Pretty straightforward. We take our podcasts and we put a video over them. The videos are straightforward. It's either a cycle ride or a walk, all shot in first person, so you get to see what I see. I really hope you enjoy the podcast. Let's roll the short intro and get into it. Thanks a lot.
Hi, welcome to the Revenue Hub podcast. I'm Trevor Grant. Through these podcasts, we aim to discuss topics relevant to professionals within the hotel, travel and leisure sectors, whether you're in a revenue management function, reservations, front office operations, digital marketing or sales. We hope the topics discussed will be of interest and either answer some questions or maybe prompt some more. So welcome to another Revenue Hub podcast. Delighted to be joined today by Nikki and Peter from Get Into More. Hi guys, welcome. How are you both?
Hello Trevor, we're well, thank you.
You well, Peter?
Thank you very much, Trevor.
Jolly good, jolly. Now, as normal with these, I'll just get you guys to give us a bit of an intro. I'm sure everybody who is involved with Revenue Hub should know about you already, but just in case they haven't, just give us a brief bit of intro about Get Into More and about yourself, and then we'll get into the reason why we're on this podcast. Nikki, do you want to go first?
Sure. I'm Nikki. I'm responsible for all things commercial at Get Into More. Get Into More is a business intelligence tool, and we are focused on the most profitable revenue stream, which is meetings, events, and group business.
Peter?
Yeah, well, I've started the company a couple of years ago because we indeed defined that these revenue streams of meeting and events were very important, but there was not a tool to sort of get a grasp on it. Being very revenue driven, we created the tool that was not on the market. And then we said to Nikki, why don't you join? And here we are, a couple of years later on. And the rest is history. Exactly.
Perfect. Well, look, I know you guys have come up with an initiative, and it's the Meeting Survival Pack, and that's primarily why you're here, and we'll talk about that in a moment, so we can get that across to our audience. But because we have you guys, and the meetings and events space has been hit pretty hard, obviously, as we all have. But also with all that's going on with Zoom conferences and how hotels are going to open up, just be interested to get your take on kind of how you feel maybe the meeting and events environment may change as we start to come out of this crisis, and maybe what hotels need to start to be thinking about. So what's your kind of take on that, guys?
But if you see it in hotel business-wise, you can really see that no bigger requests are coming in, no international requests are coming in. And these are, of course, linked to the fact that there's no really clear vision on what's happening with the airlines. So it is a combination of the local markets, which are the ones that are being the ones to sort of survive on, and at the same time the size of the meetings, and that is practically because of their budget, but also operational wise, because you have to have a sort of distance
Social
between
distancing, yeah.
Exactly. And the third layer is actually that the whole part of having all these webinars, Zoom meetings, WebEx meetings is going to be integrated in the future way of working with meetings in companies, for sure. And that will have an impact.
Do you think it will have an impact on the? I mean, it's not going to have an impact on the bigger meetings, is it?
Mm-hmm.
But or do you think it will? I mean, I've had numerous discussions around this, and I can't quite work out which way. Some are saying, "Oh, it will revolutionize how it's done," and others are thinking, "But people still like meeting, they still like traveling, they still like networking."
Yeah, I think it really depends on sort of the segments that you're working in and the types of meetings. So I wouldn't be surprised that, like the coaching and the training meetings and those sessions will really still be with people interacting.
Yep.
Whereas maybe strategy meetings or sales meetings could be, more on webinars and Zoom links.
Yep.
Whereas as products could be a combination. Products you could actually have some people locally meeting in a meeting room, but then, being with a stream link or whatever, presenting that product to maybe their colleagues across the world. So
yeah,
it's going to be a combination, I think, of these three, depending on the segment where that you're working in. Coaching and training, there's a lot you can do, but you have to have at a certain time really a flip chart, so to say, and say,
there is a
we all
point,
look at it, and this is what we're going to focus on.
This is even something that we notice if we do trainings. Well, sometimes I do them online, sometimes I do them on premise.
Yep.
And if I'm at the hotel with this group, and especially if it's more than even 4 or 5 people following the training, from the moment it's more than 4 or 5, you tend to lose them. If you're doing this format, it's very difficult to get everyone involved and
I agree with you. I mean, previously I worked in a role where I was involved with training, and we used to do induction weeks. And I've often thought, could I have run that remotely? I don't find it the same. I agree with you. I think if you were having a strategy meeting, you could see a lot of those intercompany events could possibly shift to a WebEx scenario in that way. I think the traditional conferences and events will still carry on, but maybe that meeting space is one that could be affected a little bit.
No, I agree. And I think there's a lot of opportunities in there as well. I mean, it's not doom and gloom, because even if it's there's going to be more WebEx meetings or whatever, well, so I mean, maybe it's like as add-ons on the meetings, and out of these WebEx meetings, it could also be that normal meetings actually come out of it, because they've done a lot of these WebEx meetings, and then they say, well, okay, we've done now 20 of them, had enough. Now we have to meet up in person. And the way of working has just been rebooted without, it's something that was discussed prior with a lot of companies. Working from home. Well, it's a fact now, right? We didn't have a choice. And all of a sudden they come to the conclusion, well, it works, and not all of it, but there's a big chunk that actually it works. For Nikki and myself, and also for the other, like for Pandox where I work for, there's not a big change for us. I mean, for you, I would say the same thing. For us, it's like business as usual, but for others, it's like this complete shift of, whoa, now I'm working really from home. I have to concentrate. I have to do my stuff. And at the same
nothing new.
Nothing new. But at the same time, I mean, efficiency-wise, you are not being disturbed by a colleague who's going to brag about something else or moan about something. You go like, or coffee machine, and go like, oh yeah, let's hang around. So efficiency-wise, it's a big jump forward. Okay, I'm not sure on a professional wise if it's a jump forward for everybody. I mean, if people do it correctly, it should be. But nevertheless, it's the new norm. So this is going to be something we're going to be stuck with.
How do you see that affecting from a demand point of view? Because I mean, you guys, your system is concentrated and set up to be making sure hotels can make the best decisions that they can around meetings and events and what to take, what not to take, and I guess there's threats, but there's also opportunities where you could argue the technology could become even more valuable with a lower demand as it was with a higher demand. Or I mean, you guys are the experts. So.
True. I mean.
You go first.
No, it's true. Well, there's two sides to that. First of all, indeed, there's you can anticipate to trends quicker. You can see like, oh, what I can see now. Demand dates can be shifting because segments can be shifting, and especially also that what we predict is that these smaller meetings will be the ones to go forward. So anything you had in the future, say 50 plus meetings, will now maybe be 0 to 30.
Yep.
But because you can see that shift, you can adjust, first of all, your way of working. And secondly, you can also adjust your pricing accordingly.
Of course.
And make your conversion higher. And at the same time, because of all this home working and our tool is cloud-based, there's a lot of stuff that you can actually see without being at the property. Whereas now, I mean, these meeting and event team, they're always stuck in their offices, right? And now they have to work from a different location. And it works because they can still get the information that they need if they use our tool. And it's not that we want to make a promo out of that, but you can see now that integrations with systems and getting data out of there, not only for meeting and events, but it's for any sort of business, is becoming more crucial.
Nikki, you had some insights. You were going to
Yeah.
say something about
Sorry.
Well, the good thing about having tools in place right now, like ours, is that as a team, you start on a common ground. You know what you're talking about. You can take the tool, look at the dashboards, and everyone's noses are in the same direction.
Yeah.
You take away the guessing. Nothing is as frustrated as being in a room and like, no, I think this is gonna happen. Well, we know that, for instance, September is picking up because that's what you can see in the tool. So let's focus on September. Which segment? All right, it's groups. Let's go for groups.
Yeah, and I guess as well, it may not be just specific to your technology. I'm thinking more generally here, but if the dynamic of the meeting profile changes slightly, then in the past, when you've been looking at maybe larger meetings where people were staying over, sometimes you could be constrained in terms of what meetings you could take on, or because you may also be using up capacity in the hotel that you could be using selling in a different way. Whereas if, as you say, the dynamic of those meetings change slightly and they may be more localized, maybe smaller, the impact on the rooms might be less. So that balancing between those two departments could open up other opportunities as well.
Yeah,
would that be right?
Yeah, definitely. And indeed, also, even with this whole crisis, with all these cancellations, and of course it has been disastrous for the meeting, but also now we at least have the exact figures. It's not guessing about, so how did we lose that and why was it lost? Okay, we know we lost it, but having these figures there, it makes it not easier, but at least more understandable what the total impact has been. When it's floating around in some systems and it's not compiled in one, you sort of have something left and something right. And now in no time, for the hotels that we have on board, they could say, oh, okay, for this month it's so much, for that month it's so much, and you can sort of see whatever has been rebooked. That has a pattern, and all these patterns can help you in understanding more what's going to happen in the near future, but also in the future that's further out. So,
no, that makes good sense.
I think one more thing that I'd like to add is when the hotels reopen, it's very likely that it's not going to be with full teams.
No.
So there will be less people there. Like, imagine yourself going back to the hotel, being excited that you can work again, and then your first job is, okay, so now you're going to spend a week making reports about everything we lost.
Yeah.
And the whole dynamic of it. I mean, I was talking with a couple of people earlier in the week about how hotels are going to open, and buffet breakfast. Are they really going to be there anymore?
No.
Maybe not. So in which case, if you've got an all-day meeting, are you going to have all-day meetings? And how do you? What's the catering for that? For instance,
very true.
Or
very
do you
true.
have shorter meetings because people aren't going to hang around to be paying the extra for the food? And then how many people can you have coming through the hotel at any given time? So there are going to be constraints that are above and beyond your rooms and meeting space availability as you start to come out of this. So being aware of that and being able to evaluate the business that you're taking on at the right price and the right kind of package that you're putting together to work within those constraints is going to be pretty key, pretty important.
And I think creativity becomes very important now as well. And then we've seen that in many things, like you said, these webinars, but also the creativity within the teams where hotels are working, like you said, with these meeting packages. I mean, should we give them picnic baskets to go out into when you something like? Well, we discussed a couple of things. We discussed a couple of these things with the hotels. If you have some outside area, or if you have indeed like a meeting of 20 persons, but you would need to book actually 2 rooms, one for the breakout and one for the meeting, and then switch back again. Or would you have like room service for them, in the meeting room, or meeting room service, or whatever you want to call it, and just have like a limited menu with a QR code on it, and you just they scan it, and that's it. So there's, like we said, there's opportunities in there.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of things to think about, actually.
Yeah. And I think as well, I mean, again, it's not decrying the value of Zoom. And I think the thing to say is, and other web applications are available.
I know, yeah.
But again, there's been a massive shift to open plan working now. So, they work well because we're all sitting in isolation in quiet rooms. Once we get back to work and we've got everyone around us,
it's a different
suddenly
ballgame.
the ability to have a 20-person meeting via an online, when there's all this noise going on in the background and you can't isolate that noise, the ability to get into a room and to quietly talk and focus is also an important benefit that can sometimes we don't maybe recognize until we get back, because we don't realize we're doing things quietly in isolation at the moment.
Yeah, true. And I think also the fact that after I don't know how many weeks or months we still need to come, there becomes this. I mean, there's definitely becoming an urge to see each other again. I mean, we're people, right? It's.
I miss everyone.
Yeah, no,
it's everyone.
Yeah, me too. I'm like, socially as well. I mean,
and seeing just a different geographical location, just being in a different set of four walls.
Yeah.
So I actually think you're right. I think there will be, yes, it will change, and hotels and their offerings and the creativity and the handling, the cleanliness around it and all of those factors need to be. But I do think like there is going to be a pent up desire to want to travel. I think there will be, once people get back to the office, there will also be a desire just to get out and be out. So there could be some capacity there. And also, I guess you don't know what restrictions are going to be put on offices, people to go back to work.
Definitely, yeah.
So in the same way that same way some hotels have got creative and provided a hotel room as an office if you can't work at home, then suddenly your meeting space could be a virtual office where you've cleaned it and you can provide some catering, because you may not be able to get into your office block, or they may only reduce certain rooms or floors because they can't have everyone back at once. So I think there's a lot of scope in there that people could look to take advantage of it.
Definitely. Yeah. And also there, I mean, the type of business shifts, right? And which you maybe your meeting room will not be a meeting room, it will be like an office room or whatever room that a company would need in order to get their capacity up and running, but not in one spot. No, that's true. That's very true.
If one thing will be important, if it wasn't the case before, is now that the hotels, I believe, should definitely have the technology in place as well to provide that you can do these type of Zoom meetings. Like a beamer will not be enough. A beamer will not do.
And again, as you say, why not? You could have a meeting here. So if you're international and the travel's not available, but you could still have 4 people in a smaller room because it's open plan in the office, it's too noisy or it's confidential.
Exactly.
Into a meeting space, have that facility set up, whether it's Zoom or Go Meeting or these other ones that are available, but to have that facility geared up and the right technology. It's now, whereas in the past it was maybe a unique, now it's going to be expected. It's a bit like one of those things, well, why is it not here anymore? That would also be a differentiator.
Definitely.
I think there's some really interesting changes that some of the hotels are going to have to face. As you say, there's going to be some threats, but also some opportunities. And so the creativity and how they respond to that is going to be quite key. I think with all of us, it's going to be a new environment. So it will be fun to see how people respond. So that was really useful to get your take and insights on that. Thanks so much. The main reason you're here and what we really want to focus the time on is around this initiative that you've come about, the Meetings Survival Pack, which is being offered to hotels and venues worldwide. So literally, guys, talk to us about the Meetings Survival Pack.
Well, good. Shall I start?
Thank you, Nikki.
So what we did is, we saw this crisis start and develop, and we started thinking about what we could do in order to help the industry at this difficult time. So we came up with our Meeting Survival Pack, which is I'd say a light version of Getting to More, our existing tool. We made a selection of 3 of the most critical dashboards, the dashboards that we believe will be most helpful for hotels during recovery. And we offer them, well, for free, no strings attached, and this for the full year 2020.
So it's a free for the whole of 2020, did you say?
Yeah. So this will be for the rest of the year. You are
Okay.
free to use these dashboards, and of course, we hope that they can help out the hotels in this difficult time.
Okay, and there's 3 different dashboards that they can get access to.
Yeah. So first of all, we started with a dashboard. Well, that is called Dashboard, and it's a good name for a dashboard, right?
It is a good name.
So it's a complete overview of all of your interesting KPIs. So no need to calculate them. You'll get insights in your lead time, your conversion, both by number of inquiries and by revenue, but also your different revenue streams. You would be able to compare them to forecast, to budget, and so on. So that's the first one. I like to see this dashboard as a compass. It will point you in the right direction. And I'm sure while looking at it as a revenue management professional or a sales manager, some questions will arise. And then you can use the other dashboards to find answers and to go into action. Okay. I think something that I found, well, really, really fun to do during this time, but also really helpful to add to the pack, is we developed a completely new dashboard for this meeting survival pack that is, of course, now also included in the tool. Mm-hmm. We already plan to make a yearly overview, which makes it easier to look at the bigger picture, because that's what we're interested in right now.
Absolutely.
In the bigger picture, it's called a yearly overview. So we take a look at the current month, and we will move 12 months forward. Mm-hmm. And well, you will be able to see where you have some pickup, and even filter it down by segments.
Right.
As we said before, just to make sure that once the market returns, you will spot it and be able to benefit from that return.
Well, that's the point. I mean, it is going to return. We will have meetings and events. So you need to be pointing in the right direction, and then looking further ahead and taking a longer term view as well.
Yeah.
And instead of assuming sometimes some things that are changing in the future, where you have just sort of a gut feeling that you would say, yeah, most likely we will have smaller meetings, that will be really visualized in this yearly overview also within the months to come, that you can easily see which type of meetings, which revenue streams are actually changing, and which are the ones that are more opportune to go into, and adjusting your sales strategy accordingly.
Yeah,
definitely.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah,
and then the third dashboard that you mentioned.
So for the third one, we consulted our customers. We said, well, we're thinking about creating a survival pack. Which of our existing dashboards do you believe is most interesting or most crucial during this time? Mm-hmm. And they said, well, go for the demand calendar. It's a favorite for most of the teams. So yeah, again, what's in a name? It's a calendar view where you will be able to spot where the heat is and where the demand lies in a certain month.
Yeah, and also that demand calendar is an easy tool to use when you're not at the location that you're normally at within a hotel. Sometimes it's difficult. We had in the past, from my own experience, demand calendars hanging up a wall where you could see, oh, that is a busy month, and that is good, because there's nothing wrong with that. But as the new world is more the online world and the digital world, where we have to get our information from cloud-based applications. The picture on the wall is going to be a team photo, but not a demand calendar anymore. So I think in that respect, that changes, and that will also help making that change towards the future, where this information is spread and also given to not only the M&E team, but also the other people within the commercial team and even the operational team.
No, that sounds really good.
Yeah.
I just listened to it. I mean, as you said, it's such a profitable piece of business. It can make up, depending obviously on your hotel, quite a significant amount of revenue, or even if the revenue compared to your rooms is slightly lower, but back to that profitability piece, it can be a really nice piece of business to have. So it would be very easy to lose sight of it. So to have a tool that you can use for free for the rest of this year, commitment free, that can point you in the right direction. I don't like the phrase "no-brainer," but if I was sitting in a hotel, I'm thinking, yeah, okay, that sounds like very little risk for me, but quite a big upside.
I would dare to say no. No risk.
Zero.
Absolutely. That's brilliant, guys. Well, super. As I said, that's the main thing we wanted to get you guys on. I think the insights into the market was really useful, but puts it in context of why you do need to get this technology. Why with no commitment, zero risk, it's just a chance. Even if you've been thinking about it, now is the time. Now is when we do have some time.
Fully agree.
Yeah.
Anything else we haven't covered around the initiative?
I'm good, Trevor. Thank you for getting the message across.
Yeah,
no
thank you
worries.
very much, Trevor.
Great to have you guys on board. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.